Hey, we did a video yesterday on Depicter, but I felt we need to go a bit more in depth in actually laying out some slides. Depicter is a free WordPress plugin. I'm still crazy about what they've bunged into here that you get for free. I'm pretty sure there'll be a premium version with more dynamic functionality and features into it. But what you get for free is brilliant. Now, please bear in mind, anytime you add a slider to your page, it might hit your page speed a little bit, but we are going to check that at the end as well. I've got a website that's currently 95, 96%, depending on the time of day I run it. What impact do I get if I put this as a hero banner? So depicter.com, okay, the link is in the description. Go and download it. It's totally free. We've already got it on our website over here. Once you've installed and activated it, you would go to basically Depicter down here. And the great thing is it opens up this lovely, lovely interface. Now, I've been testing out previously, but let's do one properly from scratch. Let's click Create Slider. The great thing about it is it gives you access to some pre-built templates. If I'm honest, you could pick any one of these, change the image and the text and whatever, and have an amazing slider built for you. Like, look at this one here. Let's just preview it. You know, it hasn't got anything fancy going on. It's just images and wording, but it works really, really beautifully. You can build out your own slides with lots of other tools and bits of kit. You know, like Bricks has got nestable sliders, templates and Elemental, loads of stuff like that. But we are going to do one completely from scratch. Let's just scroll up and do create blank slider. And it's going to say, what do we want to name it? Give it a name. We're going to leave the size as it is and just hit create slider. But let's just give it a name. Imran slider. And away we go. A video does pop up, by the way, where it does go through some of the settings and understanding how to build it. Please go ahead and watch it. Or you can just watch what we're doing. So we get some images down here, backgrounds and things that we can bring through. This is really, really good, I think, you know. So if you haven't got stock images or you haven't sourced stuff out yet, you could go over here. And if I just type, I'll tell you what, let's go for Fox. That's quite creative, right? What if I type in supernova? I'm being really ridiculous now. Look. Whoa, hello. So there are stuff you can get through from here. And also, it isn't just photos. There's loads of text options as well. The text options you get here, I think, are so impressive. You just drag it in, change the wording and whatever. You also have videos as well. So this is really, really good. Or you could embed one of your videos, you know, so if you've got a YouTube video or even Vimeo, you can bring that through in the background. Shapes and vectors, you know, divider line shapes over here. Buttons. You change your wording, you change where it goes, and of course your controls that we are going to be using to be going from slide 1 to slide 4, or however we decide to build it. Right, let's get on to what we have over here. You do have the options tab as well, so let's just discuss that. We're going to leave all of these settings, but down here where we have mobile content with, I am going to change that to be 378. Just because that's kind of the standard size for like the iPhone XR, and I pretty much like to set that as my smallest size. The background color, are you going to assign one or not? And yeah, that's all we need to say about that. Now, this is slide 1. You can rename it if you want, or you know what, we'll just leave it as slide 1. The reason why the naming is important is, what if you have a button that like misses out like the next 4 or 5 slides and jumps to the end one? Maybe you're showcasing a product, an item. Maybe it's about your services. And if they jump like to a button that is, for instance, I don't know, see more details or get the specification. That's a good one. What if you're showcasing a product and you have different buttons for spec details, technical, I don't know, dimensions, rear view photos of a car or whatever? They could click that and it could jump to that slide. That is being really versatile, in my opinion. Okay, so we are going to add in a image. So I'm going to go over to my photos. Now, what is kind of funny here is when you do go here, it kind of shows you photos that I used in test sliders before. But to get to your media library, you got to hit upload. And you might sit there going, well, I don't want to upload. It's my media library. Just hit the upload, right? You can either upload a brand new file to your media library, or you can use some of the images you've already got. I'm actually going to pick this image over here, and we are going to insert that image. And I am now going to just drag it. Well, in fact, I'm just going to drag it like that not going to change the opacity of the image, because I want it to be fully like 100%. And I'm not going to give this any corner radius. If I was to go over here, in fact, border radius or anything like that, I'm not doing any of that. What I do want to mention though is that if you hit set as slide background, it almost becomes fixed in how it looks. And if you then suddenly realize you want to rearrange it, I don't know why, but I couldn't find a way of doing that. And I had to add in the image again. Well, basically, I had to delete the image and add it in again. And this is why it's really important that before you add any buttons or navigation or any text or anything else, you go over here and check how does it look in the tablet and most importantly, the mobile. Now, when you look at this, you're going to go, yeah, it looks all right. Do not be fooled by that. Can you see this gray area we have around here? We set our options over here for our general down to 378. In fact, I should probably just remind you there were other options as well. There were options for navigation. Are you going to allow keyboard navigation, mouse wheel navigation, things like that? Are you going to allow it to loop? I would say looping is not a bad idea. Sorry if I skipped that. How does the animation work? So, does it fade? Is it just like swiping, which is what the basic is? You've also got a cube effect as well. I'm going to leave it on basic. And what is the sliding direction? So horizontal means it goes like that. If you switch it to be vertical, it would be basically going like that. But I think horizontal makes sense. Loading options. When it first loads up, do you want it to have a bit of a loading animation? I'm not always crazy about that. Advanced, if you want to start adding in any particular CSS code. I don't think I added that in. No, that's an example. I thought, where did that come from? And of course, callbacks as well. Now I'm going to leave all of that. I just very quickly forgot to mention that. Sorry about that. But if you go back to your slide, this area here is what they will actually see on screen. So over here, this is what they see. When you go to the tablet, this is fine. It's within the hatched area. You go to the mobile, she, the person of interest, is outside the area. So I'm now going to click on the image and I'm going to have to basically just manipulate it a little bit like this. Something like that, okay? Let's now set this as the slide background. Now, once it is set, look now when I click on the background. The settings have disappeared. All I can do is remove the background and I don't want to say worried me a little bit, but it was a little bit slightly confusing. So it's one of the things I kind of was like, okay, how do I do that? And if you go to the options, there is no option for you to adjust it other than drag in a brand new image or remove and start again. So that's my only tiny little bit of a bugbear, if I'm really honest, with how that works. Okay, let's now jump to adding in some text. I am going to go for this one here. Actually, no, I won't go for that one. Let's go with that one. So I'm going to drop that text in and I'm going to pick it up. Now, if you do extend it, it doesn't enlarge it, right? Don't do this going, oh, wow, it's enlarged it. No, all it does is create spacing. Let's undo that. Let's click on that text and I'm going to position it to be somewhere like that. And I'm now going to change the font size of the smaller text at the top there, because I can't even really read it. Like, what does it say? Let's make that be white. And I'm going to make it be not a medium. We'll go with a regular. And I'm going to make it be, we'll go for about 40 pixels. Now, bear in mind, though, I've just gone and said 40 pixels, which was a mistake, because I want to see it better on the screen. But remember, 26 pixels is actually quite big. So I'm going to drop that to be 20. I'm going to go over here to fit and I'm going to say make this just be 100 per 50%, because when you're actually visualizing this, 26 pixels is quite big. You go for 40 and that's now we're talking header domain, right? So let's just click back on it here and I'm going to leave it as just sitting there for now. I'm not going to change it just because I'm showing you how this works. You can change your font styles over here. Now, at the moment, okay, I don't have the facility to use a custom font. Now, you got to play around with this a little bit and have a think. If you care about your page speed performance, I go on and on about custom loaded fonts, right? Because this is currently fetching from Google. And if I scroll down, I don't see the option for me to bring through the fact that I have loaded Montserrat and Lato in my custom fonts. But that is inside Elementor, not over here. So I don't know if there's going to be a feature at any point in time where you can start to custom load your fonts. And if we go back to options down here, I don't see the option for it. So this is one of my little things that hopefully the developers will see this and they might consider in the future. Well, can we get that in? I'm pretty sure there'll be some form of code we can enter into here to do that. But right now we don't have that. Anyway, back to the text. All right, I love deviating, don't I? Anyway, let's just put this on to be Lato. Okay, something like that. And I'm going to click onto this text as well over here. And I'm going to pick, we'll leave it as Poppins actually. We'll leave it as Poppins. We'll make it be white. And we'll leave it as in fact, we'll make it be about 40. By the way, when you type anything in, it doesn't change. You've got to type and then hit return, which feels a little bit displaced because a lot of us are used to when we move like an arrow or a value, increase a number, decrease a number, change the text size, you expect to see it on screen like instant. You got to hit return here, but that's, it's not a problem. And if you feel like it's too close to the text above, this currently has 36 pixel for the Y. I'm going to go in and type in 40 and hit return. And you can see it has moved down a bit there, so you can play around with it. We've just done the styling options down here, right? With transform, uppercase, left or right margin. You could do your opacity as well. You could add a text shadow, which I'm not going to do. And we can also add in background colors and things. I'm going to leave it really, really simple. But when we go to the options tab, which again is mainly for CSS and stuff like that, you can add in a hover effect as well. So if I was to hit on enable hover and I change the text to be like a really bright yellow like that, when I hover, it's not going to do it right now, okay? If I just hit publish, which is in the top right over there, and I hit preview and you hover over it, you get a bit of a hover effect going on there. Just wanted to show you that. I'm not crazy for that yellow. I don't even know why I picked it. But when you click back on the box, in fact, I didn't click on the whole box. I clicked on a part of it, right? You could have had a hover effect. We also have animation. How does it come in? Does it fade in? Does it flip in? How does it move in? So I'm going to go with fade in like that. And I'm going to say fade. Well, we're going to click fade in. You got to go through a few steps. You don't just hit fade in and it does it. You got to hit it. What is the direction? So, does it come in like that from the top? Does it fade in from the left? Does it fly in even? So you could do that as well. How does it animation out? So do you want an animation out? Maybe not. Maybe you just want it to move to the next one, because when you have animation now, I feel like it delays the transition from slide 1 to slide 2. That's just my view. And of course, we have action as well. So this is not a button, so I am not going to add any action. Right, let's just go over here and the shapes as well. Okay, I'm not going to add anything, but if I was to add like a circle here, and if you want it to be a perfect circle, you would go 250 and over here 250. Let's now go over here and create a button. I'm just going to go for a standard square button. Now, if you start to do this, that is what happens if you drag. So let's undo that. Let's just pick the button up and I am going to move it over here. Let's just put the percentage to be 150 just so we can see it correctly. You do get the the guides so you can make sure you're in line. Okay, so let's just click on the, click on the text over here. Let's just leave it as click here for now, okay? But I am going to highlight the text. I'm going to say I want the text to be about 18. I want it to definitely be medium. I want it to stand out. Letter spacing. Let's add in a bit of that. Let's go for 1. No, let's go for, no, sorry, it's 1. Yeah, okay, 1 is fine. I'm going to click on the button over here, and I'm now just going to extend the field a little bit like that. So let's scroll down here. We got background button, and I'm going to type in FF0050, something like that. So that's the background color of the, if you click in the wrong place, it takes you out a bit, okay? So there we've got our color for our button. I'm not going to do anything like that. I'm not going to do a background blur. Of course, now when we go to hover, I'm going to say the background color for this, enable it, will now be, yeah, okay, we'll go for black. We'll leave it as black. So what you'll now get, if I just hit publish those changes and then hit preview, you get the color button change there. The button does not have any animation, so let's go and add one in. So let's go here. Let's go to animation in, and I'm going to say move in. Okay, and I'm going to say short move from the bottom. Okay, long move from the bottom, and it goes in from the bottom. You can change the speed of it. So if I want to go in and change it to be a 2000, it will be a bit quicker. 1000 milliseconds is 1 second. 2000 is 2 seconds. 2,500 is 2.5 seconds, right? You could even add in a delay. I wouldn't do that, okay? I wouldn't do a delay. And I'm not going to have any animation out either. So we can hit publish those changes. And again, if I'm going to hit preview, you get an idea for what's going on there. I think this needs to fade in a bit quicker. So let's just go back over here. Click on this entire box. Go to animation. At the minute, it is 1,800 on its speed. I think we should make it 1,000. Let's just publish that. I'm just going to hit preview now. And that's, I suppose that's a bit better. Maybe you don't want to have it fade in. Maybe you want to have it fade in from the bottom, maybe. So sorry about that. I'm going to quickly change that now, just to show you how easy it is to do on the fly. At the minute, this is animation in, and it comes in with a particular style. I'm going to hit change and say move in. I'm going to say a long move from down, like that. And we are going to set it to be 2000, in fact. Okay, so that is 2000. But I'm going to go back to the button, which is also 2000. But I am going to add in a delay of, about 300 milliseconds. So it's 0.3. Let's publish that. And now when we preview it, there we go. That was pretty easy and simple, right? Okay, and I can add in loads more buttons and stuff that I want to do here. Now, what I will do is just put this back onto fit like that. We better have some navigation controls, right? And we've got plentiful designs over here that you could go for. You could go for one that's a bit more transparency like that, which you can't even see properly because it's in black. Let me just move it over the arm like that. Or you could go for a more of a blocker design. Blocky? You know, with a background color like that as well. I am, for simplicity, just going to go for something like this. So what we'll do is I will pick this up. I'm going to ensure, well, if you click there, it very quickly moves it into position. So I could put it on the left, on the right, in the bottom corner, the top corner, top or bottom, wherever you want to go. Currently, it puts it over there. You can change your opacity. You can change your color scheme. Anything you want to do. All right, I think you get the drill. The background color, you could change it as well. What I'm going to do, though, is increase the size of this to be something like that. It is a width of 72 and 74. Let's make it be 74. So it's kind of equal in fact, I think it's a bit big. Remember, we're viewing a miniature version of this. So I'm going to change this to be 50 and 50 like that. So I've moved it to just over B down here. Now, one of the things that is a little bit strange about this is that I can do a lot of stuff to the design of this. I can't change the size of this, which I think would be lovely if that feature was available as well. But like I said, I think there'll be a premium version of this coming out. And it wouldn't surprise me if that is unlocked in there. And if so, credit to the developers. Why not? You got to give extra features in Pro, but this is free, don't forget. If you go to hover, you can change the color. Of course you can. And then you have animation as well. I mean, I would say, though, do you want to have in an animation or not? You could leave it just there as it is. And I think sometimes overkilling animations is a bit overkill, right? For the action type, we are going to pick go to slide. It's not going to go to a URL. It's not going to do anything else like slide can show control. I mean, let me just get rid of that there. Slide show control, basically, when you click and you click the action, it's now saying, well, does it pause it? So maybe this is an automated slideshow that just runs automatically or whatever, which they will do anyway. So do you want the people, have you got a lot of text on there? and now you want the viewer to be able to read the text before it slides across, right? So let me just go back over here, get rid of that. We are instead going to have go to slide. It will work on click. You do have options for mouse in, mouse out, but so if you move your mouse into the area, it will move. That's quite funky in a way, but you could accidentally move your mouse in and then it moves, which I don't think is a good idea. Click, add action, go to slide, hit edit, and now you decide what it does. So I'm going to say next slide. There is no delay and the trigger is click. Cool. That is now done. But we might as well get the other button in as well. So if I just, in fact, I could just put it down there like that because we know where it's going. We set the size to be 50-50. Did you see how I did that? I didn't fit the screen. I just brought it in, used this to bring it to the bottom corner. I've now set the size to be 50-50. I'm going to pick it up now and look, I can get this to be in line. And I can decide, okay, this will be 25 pixels apart. So it's pretty clear and easy what it's doing. Let's click on this. We're not going to change anything else on here except the action, which will be go to slide, click, and over here, the action will be previous slide. I mean, it already comes set up with this anyway. I just went down the long-winded route of showing you what it does. So we're now going to publish those changes. Okay, that, in simplicity, is a slide. However, we only have one slide. So once you've done your design, and please don't forget, we've just done a very basic slide here. In fact, can I pick all of this up here? If I just if I just bring this down a little bit, so it's kind of in line with the buttons a little bit. Well, not really, we won't make it in line completely. And I'm just going to move this down as well. I'm going to go over and bring in another image. So let me just bring one in from my library. So how about we go for something like that, right? So let me just bring through this image and I'm going to bring it down, okay? And it's going to be, how about we have it positioned somewhere like that, okay? So it should be in line, which it is. I'm going to go to my corner radius, okay? And I am going to type in 25 and hit return. That should have a bit of a rounded border, which you can now see. We are going to say it moves in. And I'm going to say it moves in from the top like that. So it comes down a little bit slower than everything else. In fact, I'd say medium from the top. So medium from the top, and that's it. So if we now publish that and we preview, okay, and this is where you can be really versatile. Just look at some of the templates Depicter gives you. It's mind-blowing, okay? If we preview that, that is what you get. And I don't know about you, but that's pretty cool. Now, before you move on to slide 2, you need to check how it looks in the tablet and the mobile. I'm only going to show you the mobile because I don't want this video to go on and on and on and on. But let's go over to the mobile. So right now, our image, right, is kind of all over the place at the minute. So our background image has moved. So the problem I'm seeing here is that even though you spent time setting it, it almost resets it a little bit over here, which confuses me quite a bit. You can go over here and start hitting any of these options here, but they're not really going to do much for you. But I really feel like something's not right there. While we're in the mobile view, I'm going to pick up this image that we added in as well, and I'm going to move it now to be somewhere like here. I'm going to move the text to be somewhere like that. In fact, let me just move this over here. I don't know why I've got this so small. Make it 150%. You know, what am I doing? I'm trying to stare at it. Right, let's just go with something like that. We go with the text there. Let's move the button to also be in line and have the button there. And again, we'll just rearrange these a little bit. Something like that. I'm just doing it on the fly, by the way. So let's go with 25 there. Now what we're going to do is move on to slide 2. The simplest way to do it is you could just right-click on it, duplicate slide. If we hit slide menu, we now got slide 1. And we have slide 2. What we're going to do is just put in a completely different image for the background, okay? So I could, if I want, just do remove background, or I could assign a new one. I'm just going to do remove background for now. Hit upload. Let's bring through another image. Let's go for this one here. And I'm just going to expand on this and do something like that. And I'm just now going to go down and do set as the background. Again, you know, when it comes to the mobile, something that I feel needs to be looked into, but I, I, I feel like I'm overlooking something. I don't know why, but I feel like I'm overlooking something, but I don't quite understand what yet. Call this one a slide. In fact, we'll do slide 2 like that. Okay, the navigation buttons, all of that, they remain. The text over here, I'm just going to change this to say part 2, like that. I'm not going to change anything else. I mean, if I go back over to slide 1, you could remove the button if you want. So let's just remove it, right? Let's remove the button. If I now go to slide 2, the button is there. But what I will do is I'm going to go back to slide 1 and put the button back in. But I just want to show you could do funky stuff like that. If I go over here, I could, if I want, move this now to be in a completely different position. I won't. I'm going to leave it there. What I will do, though, is swap out this image. Now, this is a bit of a funny one. If I click on the image, right, and I click upload, and I now bring through a different image. So let's say we go for this image here, and I hit insert. It doesn't actually place it onto there. This is a little bit fiddly. Because if I move this image over here or whatever, it doesn't kind of replace it. What I found was that if you pick an image that is here and you drop it in, like look, if I drop it there, it goes over the background. If I position it just over that image, it will replace that one. But I don't want that. I want one of these images. Now, even though I've uploaded, if you go to your My Photos, it does not always appear here. Even after refreshing, it does not appear over here. So again, I'm not sure if it's a bug or a glitch, but there is a bit of a problem there because it kind of like plagued me a bit because it felt like, right, I've now got to go over here, look at the size, which is 395 by 222. Could I copy it though? So I can copy the style, paste the style like that. But even after doing that, can you see here, the image is actually bigger. So even though I've gone here and said copy style and then paste the style like that, it's not exactly the same. Look, this is 97. Forget the position. The width is 395. That is 440. That is slide 2. What if we then go over to say, okay, show me all the slides. Now let's duplicate, let's now duplicate this one. So now we have slide 3, which is what we've got here. Rather than me adding in, doing the whole thing again, I'm just going to kind of bring over one of these images here like that. And this image here, if I position it to be over there, it works like that. So you can get it to overwrite a previous image you had. However, for some reason, it's not bringing through the images I've already uploaded, which is a little bit strange, I have to say, but it's probably just, I don't know, the way I'm working or whatever. So if we now quickly look at this in the mobile, that is looking okay as well. Now, what about if we do want to add in a button which jumps all the way over to slide 3? So let's just go back to slide 1. This button here, I could right click it and duplicate. So I don't need to drag in a brand new from scratch. So we duplicated. Let's make it be 150%. Let's now move this button to just be here. And how about we change this to say, go to offer, for instance, or detail. I don't know, whatever you want to do, okay? Let's just go down here and let's make this be a slightly different color, maybe something like that. You know, it's pretty simple there. Now this button, when we go to the action, we now want this to basically go to slide. On a click, add action, and down here where it says go to slide, we're going to click edit. But instead of it going to the next slide, it is going to go to slide name, and it's going to go to slide 3. It's going to jump all the way to slide 3. And we just now close that. Just double check that's definitely done. Yep, let's hit publish. Now, you probably don't want that to appear on slide 3. So let's just jump over to slide... sorry, I made a mistake. Let's now copy that, go to slide 2, because we created it on slide 1. This is why sometimes it's good to get all your components in, and then you maneuver it. Let's just paste the element there. And when we go to slide 3, obviously it won't be there. Let's just hit publish changes. Okay, let's now go to fit. Let's just put this back onto slide 1. Let's now preview it. So there, we've got it. And if you click here, this is not really going to do anything at the moment because it's not set up to go anywhere. It might go to another part of your website or something like that. If we click this, slide 2 and slide 3. And I've also undone the loop navigation because in a way, when you get to the end, if you want to go back to slide 1, rather than you going from 3 to 1, you got to go back the other way. Kind of makes sense with the left and right arrows. So if we just go to preview and I now click, well, if I go like this, it stops. You now got to go backwards to get the other way. If you hit here, it goes all the way over to offer. It missed out slide 2. Does that make sense? So you've got 5 slides. You can now jump all the way to slide 5 if you want. Now, at the point of publishing, you will have noticed you have a shortcode here. What you want to do is copy that shortcode. You can use this in Gutenberg, WordPress, Elementor, Divi, wherever you can add in a shortcode, bricks, breakdowns, anywhere you want. What I'm going to do, though, is just click the options here. If you click WordPress here, it's going to take you back here. If you want to get the shortcode again, you do have to go into it. You can't just pick it up here. I would have liked it if it actually had that feature here, rather than you having to go edit, hit publish, and then get the shortcode. That's just me being peculiar. Right, now let's go over to our homepage. This is a test website, by the way, okay? So don't start looking at the design and going, oh my God, this is super, super ugly. Don't bother with that. I'm just going to scroll. I'm actually going to replace the hero banner that we currently have and add in the slider. So I'm going to click plus sign. I'm going to click shortcode over here. I'm using Elementor. Gutenberg, other features you could do this. All right, let's just drop this in over here. And there you go, it comes through and you can go through to slide 1, 2, and 3. However, I have noticed that even though the settings on here are set to not loop the navigation, it still does loop the navigation. Look, and if I start at number 1 and I say go to offer, it goes backwards that way. So I don't know if that is with Elementor or just generally. So, this is just me pointing out a few things. I still think this is an amazing versatile slider with all of these little features. I still think it is super, super good and super great. But there is something else we need to take into account. This is me viewing the website, and you can see the Lato font or the pop-ins, whatever we had picked there, are coming through. If you view this on an actual live website, so you've logged out of WordPress, do you notice anything about the font? Can you see the font over there? Lato has come through because we have custom loaded it. Pop-ins, however, is not coming through. So because Lato is custom loaded within our website, it comes through fine. But if you use a different font, and then in your optimization plugins, you've now said, okay, remove Google font, just be aware that you will go to whatever this font is over here. So just bear that in mind. Make sure you've custom loaded your fonts. But what does this mean for page speed insights? Okay, so Depicter is totally free. It's got so many of these pre-built templates for you. You don't have to download the templates. It comes as part of the plugin. So when you want to create a page, it's got some super, super good stuff. But you've already seen a sneak peek that this is the score I get on that test page, which isn't an amazing test page. It's got some stuff in there. It's got a slider in there at the bottom, actually. But it is still hitting 95% because it had like a static hero banner. There was nothing sliding in or anything. It was and you can actually see the image of it here. And it's scoring 95 on the performance and 98 on the desktop. So I was pretty okay with that. The score could have been a bit higher. It's just me messing around with a test website. And don't forget, though, also, if I just put it back on the mobile, it is dependent on your server speed. But what happens with the Depicter slider now at the top of my page? On the mobile, the score did go down to 69. Now, whenever I tested it with the desktop, it was always a little bit funny because the score would come down a bit, but there was always a bit of an issue if it seemed like the sliders were taking longer to render or generate page speed insights. But whether I look at the website on, preview or incognito or anything, they'd load up absolutely fine. However, if we're just going to focus on the mobile, we've gone from 95%, roughly on average, down to 69. So there was a bit of a hit. Now, what I will tell you, though, is that on the mobile with Depicter, there were 773 elements, in terms of DOM and all of that. and the page size was 492 kilobytes. Now, if I was to remove that slider, so previously without the slider, it was 559 elements. So it goes up to 773. That's like quite an increase, actually. It's like almost like a 50% increase on what we have. And the size has doubled up. It's gone from 210 kilobytes to 492. So that's a hefty payload, in my opinion, coming on. However, that being said, if you want a really lovely looking slider and you're able to stomach any of those hits and your page speed score is still coming out okay, I mean, I think I could have improved that. And I'm pretty sure if I ran that another few times over the next hour, the score might go up to 75, maybe even 80. Who knows? It is, sometimes things are dependent on server speed, but there is a hit. When it comes to sliders, I do always say don't go crazy on video sliders and animations at the top of your hero banner because it can pull you down, especially on the mobile. Overall, I think this is a fantastic tool. It is free. You can go and get it, install it, play with it. You got to get used to how it works, but it works. Now, there are some bugs, like the background image and how you can't edit it once you've set it. The fact that it doesn't stay in place for the mobile. When I added in my images, they weren't almost in the library. I had to keep adding them in and dragging them into place. Improvements on the page speed score and how it adds in quite a bit of DOM and stuff like that. That all being said, for a free plugin, it is really, really good. Yesterday, I said this is the best plugin I've ever seen for sliders. Today, I'm actually going to pull back from that because I've started to discover a few more little bugs and things with it. I think there is huge amounts of room for improvement. I think this will get better. I can't wait to see what the Pro Premium version does. I hope the developers or anyone who uses this can comment on some of the bugs I found. Maybe they aren't bugs. Maybe it was me and I was doing it wrong. So please comment and let others know. But I hope this tutorial helps you and gives you the confidence to go and have a go with the Depicter plugin. It's free. I'm Imran Web Squadron. I hope you like, subscribe, share, and follow. I'll see you.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch,